Okay, so yeah, when you really listen, trust, and act on your higher intuition, that does tend to lead to a greater sense of joy and happiness and just fulfillment. And so, what is that all about? Why is that? Well, there's different levels of intuition, and your higher intuition is associated with that crown chakra, the chakra kind of at the top of the head. And that chakra, the crown chakra, is also your relationship to spirit, including your higher self. So yeah, when you're kind of getting in touch with your higher intuition, you're getting in touch with your higher self, the part of you that's not limited to this specific lifetime, that has kind of the bigger picture for you, that has the blueprints, kind of your mock-up, your mission statement for this life, your purpose for this lifetime, essentially. And so yeah, when you start to get in communication with your higher self and you start to become aware of, you get, people call these, getting downloads. So they kind of start to get bits and pieces of information and become aware of, this is what I'm supposed to be doing here. And they slowly allow their purpose to unfold. And yeah, so when that's happening, yeah, that's going to be joyous. There's, that's going to be a sense of, it will bring a great sense of fulfillment as that occurs. Because really the alternative to that, I've mentioned this in prior videos, where you can go down, if we're talking about the path of really following through with your higher intuition, that path of kind of walking your spiritual path in alignment with your higher self, a path of your truth, essentially. And the alternative to that is, a path of lies. A path that is related to ego, or lies and illusions and things that you're programmed to do, just conditioning maybe from your upbringing in life. You end up down that path when you really kind of are depending and follow through with the more analytical, rational ego mind, if you will. And you always end up disappointed. You always end up generally unhappy. The opposite of what we're initially talking in this video, going the path of spirit. Yeah, when you go down the path of the, kind of ego mind, if you will, yeah, you're going to be disappointed, you're going to be upset, you're going to be angry, you're going to experience probably all the lower emotions. But yeah, it tends to keep you safe, it's the safe bet, but there's no sense of real fulfillment. That's where you hear stories about people where they're in this job and it, provides the great benefits and, it pays well and 401k and just whatever, but why do I feel I don't feel that great. Like, on the outside, it seems like it's all going okay. On the inside, I don't feel like I'm doing very well. What is up with that, And some people just kind of go through life that way. They just kind of, you just suck it up, and it's just the way things, it's just the way it is. And you just have to keep on going, right? At least that's what they've been told or they tell themselves. And then you get some of the people that, maybe they're going down that wrong path, so to speak, for a little bit or even a long time, and they get to a point where I can't even take this anymore. This is not working. And then it ends up being a leap of faith situation. Everybody, how they get out of that, it looks different for everybody, but essentially when I'm done with going down that way. Now I have to, what else is there? And really, what's left is turning within. And that's kind of going that other path, is where you're looking within, and, when you access, especially that higher level intuition, you're getting in touch with your higher self, and you start to get some inspiration and communication about, what would make you happy? What are you here to do? And that's exciting, and there, it also can be a giant unknown right? And when there's unknown, there's fear. So there can be also kind of, you can run into fear about, oh man, I don't know, like this doing this would be awesome, but I don't know, you get all these different fears that pop up. And even when you commit to it and say, yeah, I'm going down this path of spirit and being in alignment with my higher self and letting my purpose unfold and just one stepping stone at a time here. And you can run into doubts. There's times where you're like, you've made it down the road and then you kind of go, oh man, what do I don't know. Was this the right thing to do? It's because I don't know if this is the best thing for me. And you're just running into the doubt because sometimes things don't fully make sense. You take these small stepping stones and it's like, okay, here I am. And then there's still kind of like, well, what's next? I don't know. And so along those stepping stones, sometimes you reach a point where you just like, you start doubting things. And then it becomes this thing of you kind of get stuck. Or you're kind of looking, oh, do I need to go back? Do I need to go back to the other way? And where I was miserable, things, it paid better and, I felt more safe, but then you kind of remind yourself, wait a second, like that was a disaster. There was a reason I left that. And eventually you work through the doubt, the fear, and then you keep, moving forward on that path of spirit. But you're going to run into a little bit of fear and doubt along that way. And, this is the beauty of developing psychic ability, especially as clairvoyance, because you can start to see things very clearly. You might run into it and kind of, oh, I'm kind of afraid, or oh, now I'm doubting things. What is this? And you can start to really look at, oh, wait a second, this is just my silly ego mind. That's funny. Or oh, it's this other person's energy about me going down this path. They're scared, and then now I'm feeling their fear, and it's showing up as doubt. So you can kind of get some clarity and go, oh, okay, yeah, this is where it's coming from. Haha, let me laugh that off. It's no biggie. And you get to start to see through the illusions, and you can kind of move beyond that. And that's really what meditating is helpful with, is that you remind yourself, you get in touch with that higher part of you, and hey, okay, yeah, let's keep going, and this is why you're doing this, and kind of remaining committed to that. Kind of just remembering. That's really what meditation's all about, kind of throughout life. It's reminding yourself, that you're spirit, reminding of what are you here to do. And to just keep plugging along, because sometimes you hit a speed bump or a rut in the road, and a rut in the road. But you hit a little pothole, and then you get yourself out, and then you kind of brush yourself off, and initially it might not feel good, but then you just kind of laugh it off and you keep moving forward. But typically, the further you go down that path of spirit, you're going to face some challenges, but you're in the long run going to be more happy, as opposed to the other kind of following the ego mind routes that we talked about earlier. And so I'll give an example. I used to teach, clairvoyance and meditation and energy healing full time. We were living in Colorado at that point. And that's probably like where I felt incredibly content, where I felt nothing was lacking, a sense of wholeness. I felt fulfilled. It was quite extraordinary. And I kind of got into some situations where I had to kind of reverse things, where I was teaching part-time but working full-time jobs. And so what I noticed with that was, it was like kind of part-time joy and more more of the unfulfilling energy. And so kind of in a big transitional state where kind of getting back to just focusing on this YouTube channel, and perhaps creating a community of like-minded people that want to learn about spirituality and meditation and clairvoyance and psychic abilities and whatnot. And focusing on the school, the things that we offer. We offer energy healings and readings and meditation classes and these different psychic trainings to help you get in touch with your intuition, so that you can just have more certainty with them, and then that you can use those abilities to gain access to your answers and your own information. Because what's true for you might be very different from me, and that's totally okay. We don't claim to have your answers, but we can give you some tools and techniques that will be helpful in you eventually finding your own information. And that's when it's fun. That's really when you can just easily, because spirit is non-effort, and you can really, in a non-effort way, just start to have your answers about small things in life. I just did a video about, looking at your body systems and just, what is my body system needing? That's a small but kind of big thing, right? It's health, right? That's kind of important. And just using your intuition to get information about what to do about your health, or what things to avoid to make sure you sustain or improve your health. And then big things, in life situations where, I feel like I'm at a crossroads. What am I supposed to do here? Or I've been feeling this way, and how do I get unstuck? What is my next step? And you have that answer within yourself. It's just learning how to access that and become aware of it and see it for yourself. And ultimately I find that any time in life, because I don't claim to have this like perfect life. I've had many ups and downs, and but I find that when I really just went all in, when I just said, I'm totally devoted and committed to spirit and my purpose, and usually for the most part, things turn out for the better, and I always end up really surprised, and really happy and excited. Another example, this was, what was it? The pandemic 2020. I was also in Colorado, and I was working a housekeeping job, and the pandemic hit. We lost our jobs. Didn't really even like that job very much. So actually for me, there's the fear of, oh God, I lost my job. Now what about money? And God, there's this virus. What's happening in the world? So there's handling some of the fear energy, of course. But for me, it was actually kind of exciting that job to drop, to just completely lose that job. And then I start to kind of look at, okay, well now what? I can't do that right now. And then it kind of frees me up and kind of looking at, well, what do I really want to do? And I think, 2020, that was something that probably a lot of people had to go through, is kind of reflect on their life and see, hey, what's working? Hey, what's not working? And, maybe some people didn't make any changes, or people, actually acted on what they're kind of looking at and going, all right, well, that's not working, so enough of that, and I'm going to do more of this, or also do something completely new or different. And so, I got to a point where I was looking at teaching, and I had, the thought of like, okay, well, I could work an essential job. I think at the time it was like working at a grocery store, right? And I just decided, no, I'm not going to do the safe thing, right? I'm not going to go to the grocery store just to make some money and all that. I was like, no, I'm going to take a risk. I'm very much a risk taker. And it tends to freak people out, but that's where I actually feel the most safe. It's like tightrope walking. That's like me walking the tightrope. That's where I feel most like myself and closest to my inner source and the divine and whatnot. But I decided to take a risk, and everything started to kind of work out. By that point, I was already like teaching part-time, and then just kind of snowballed, and it became full-time. So this is kind of the beginning point of what I was referring to earlier about feeling fulfilled and teaching full-time. But and I can give you more examples. When I was, once upon a time, I was living in North Carolina, and again, I was just kind of going from silly job to silly job and really not fulfilling at all. And then I just decided one day, okay, I found this spiritual store, and they had like books and crystals, and there was rooms where people did, reading and, psychic readings. And I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to quit my job, and I'm going to go do that. And I just remember my boss, I was dating this girl at the time down there, and, he was like, oh, you should probably check in with her. And I was like, no, I'm going to quit. And it all worked out. it all worked out. I was able to make my side of the money I needed to bring in for the bills, all, I was teaching some classes, I was doing readings, I was doing healings. So for me, it's, when I teach, when I'm sharing my wisdom, that is when I'm very much happy and fulfilled and content with myself and just kind of life, if you will. And, what is that for you? So once you know what you want to do, it's just a matter of taking a step towards that. And I think that's when you start to, you're just getting in touch with yourself, and you're getting in touch with qualities of the spirit that you are. And that would be joy, that would be enthusiasm. That's when you're feeling that sense of fulfillment. And so this is, I think, the importance of really learning about intuition, the different levels of it, and really, especially eventually focusing on the higher intuition. Because if you're really wanting to, hey, what am I here to do? And how do I go about navigating that? Where do I start? And sometimes it could feel like, okay, boom, you get inspired, here's what I need to do. And then it's just like, now what? And sometimes it's just a matter of just getting, breadcrumb after breadcrumb, or just stepping stone after stepping stone, and just keep moving forward with this little downloads, little bits of information from that higher part of you. And just allowing yourself to be open and just enjoy the process. It's an adventure. But yeah, that's kind of all about your higher intuition leading towards happiness.